Hello, good morning, and welcome to the OGS Services Gov by You presentation on navigating the Procurement Services website. Your presenters today will be Jennifer Pruzanowski and Wendy Nieves. The Procurement Services website can be found in two different ways. Through the main OGS website, where you can click on the Procurement tab at the top of the page, or you can navigate directly to our website at ogs.ny.gov/procurement. For those who last used our website in 2018 or prior years, it might be worth noting that our old website, nyspro.ogs.ny.gov, was shut down this year, so any links you might have saved to that website will now be broken. Our new website uses Drupal as our content management system, which is more flexible than what we used in the past and makes things like searching for our contracts and adding new information much easier. When you visit our website, it offers info on both vendors and contract users, contract information, links to many other important procurement websites, and most importantly, for you, a searchable contract portal that should lead you to anything and everything you want to know about our centralized contracts.
By clicking on Procurement at the top of this page, it will display the Procurement menu. The menu has a bunch of useful links for both authorized users of our contracts and for our contractors and our vendors. Here, I've highlighted several pages that I think will be useful for you guys as buyers, and I'll walk you through each of these so that you can see what's there, which include some of the topics that we covered, such as the vehicle marketplace and preferred sources. Next slide. Okay. I thought a good place to start is on our buyer information page, which we also called Buying 101. Next slide. There you go. If you scroll to the bottom of this page, you'll see a section called Procurement Resources that has a lot of useful links, including one for our Purchaser Notification Services, or for PNS, which is an alert system that you can sign up for to get email notifications regarding new contracts and updates to existing contracts. I would encourage you to sign up for the PNS system if you have not done so already. Next slide. Okay. In the middle of this page, we have 4 large buttons you can use to access the Buying 101 guides for our 4 largest user groups: our state agencies, municipalities, school districts, and SUNY. Procurement protocols and requirements are different across each of these user groups, so these different guides speak to that. Next slide. Buying 101 for state agencies provides information on the 4 methods of procurement that state agencies can use: preferred source purchasing, OGS centralized contracts, piggybacking, conducting your own procurement. I would also like to note that this page includes a useful link to the Office of the State Comptroller's Agency Guide to Financial Operations. Next slide. Municipalities, unlike state agencies, aren't governed by state finance law, but rather by general municipal law. And there are also other policies and procedures that can vary between municipalities. Information on these different options are provided on this page, including piggybacking on existing contracts and cooperative purchasing. It also includes a link to the OSC Local Government Management Guide, which can be a useful resource if a municipality decides to carry out its own procurements. Next slide. Our next one is for school districts. In addition to a link for training, events, and resources, there are a couple of important links that I would like to highlight here that some of our users have found helpful. A link to the New York State Education Department Educational Management Purchasing Resources page and the Educational Management Purchasing Handbook. And the last of our 4, next slide, is Buying 101 for SUNYs. Lastly, SUNY has some of its own unique policies and procedures when it comes to procurement. And this website includes 2 very important links in that respect: laws impacting SUNY procurements and SUNY procurement policies and procedures. Next slide. I would also like to mention that at the bottom of each of those 4 pages of the Buying 101 pages, there is a section called General Procurement Resources and Training, which has a bunch of information that is pertinent to all authorized users. Being new to procurement, a couple of links that I have found very helpful are the acronyms used in procurement and the New York State Procurement Guidelines.
The second link in the procurement memo that I'd like to highlight is the contracts link, which takes you to our contracts page. We have information on our contracts organized in several different ways. So you have a few different options you can use to search for information on your contract awards, depending on what information you have or the information that you are looking for. One of the questions and comments that was submitted for this presentation was, where can I find quick links or easy ways to find the information I am seeking out? The next several slides are going to show these quick links that you should save in your favorites. So I'm going to go into some detail on the different search options over the next several slides. The first search option can be accessed by clicking on the brown button on the top of the page, which takes you to a searchable contract award table. This option features a search button that dramatically filters a table containing all of our current contract awards. And the second option, we also have links to PDF lists that have information on all of our contracts, which is what you can see here at the bottom of this slide. These PDFs are a complete list of all statewide contracts and an alphabetical listing of all OGS procurement service contracts. Next. Next slide. Previous slide. When you use the first option, clicking on the brown button to access the contract award table, this is what you will see. There's a search box above the table where you can start typing in an award title or even an award number or a group number. The table will automatically start being filtered to show only those awards that match whatever you've typed into the box. Think in broad terms if you do not know the award title or number. Based on how the award is titled, this can sometimes function almost like a keyword search. We are currently in the time of large group contracts, so if you're looking for an item, say a chair, you might want to think of a keyword that is much broader to find that contract name. Example, furniture. You can also sort this tab by all of its fields, so you can sort ascendingly or descending based on award number, group number, award title, and contract type. Next slide, please. The second type of search will bring you to the PDF, which I showed previously. Complete listing of all statewide contracts. This link for the PDF list is found at the bottom of the contracts webpage on slide 13. You can use the Control F function to search for the information that you are looking for. As noted right there on the website, under the link, the PDF list called Complete Listing of All Statewide Contracts is the place where you can search by contractor name. When you search for the contracts on the contract award table, the contractors' names do not show up. This list gives you a quick glimpse at the individual contracts on each award. as well as the contract periods. We received the question regarding how someone can see who is under a contract with us and what contracts they've been awarded. This is where you go for that information. However, since this list is organized by group number and not by contract number, a contractor will be listed more than once if they've received more than one award. So you might have to click through the Control F results to find out all the awards assigned to one particular contractor. Next slide, please. You've noticed the hyperlinks in the contract award table. Clicking on the hyperlinks will direct you to what we call the contract landing page, which contains a lot of information on the contract as well as supporting PDF documents. You can see in this example that you're able to find out the contract period, the group and award numbers of the contract, who can use the contract, and the contract's main point of contact. This is the person that knows the ins and outs of the contract, so they'll be able to answer any questions you might have. At the very bottom of this page is a detailed description of the contract and what it covers. This area can also include clarifications regarding what is not covered by the contract and some of the items or services that users of the contract are responsible for procuring outside of the contract, for example, installation services. Another key example that is listed here for most of our contracts are the MWBE and SDVOB goal requirements. One of the PDF documents that I'd like to highlight because I find it really useful is the contracts updates document, which has a chronological listing of all changes made to the award. Changes such as price lists, contractor information, reseller updates, or contract extension information. Next slide, please. Here's the award notification slide, where you click on the award document, it brings you to the main contract award notification. This page has a lot of the same information as the contract landing page, but might include more contract information than the previous page. As you can note, scope and description, dates, contract information, where the contracts can be found, and pricing information. Next slide, please. Generally, on the second page of this document, you can find the contractors that have been awarded listed with their contract numbers, name and address, telephone numbers, along with their FEINs and New York State vendor ID numbers. If this information is not listed here, then it will be listed on the contract information page and on the contract landing page. I'm going to answer one of the questions that they have.
Okay, the next link from the procurement menu that we would like to highlight is the preferred sources webpage. Next slide. Which contains links that can take you directly to the websites for each of the preferred source entities, CoreCraft, NYSPSP, and the New York State Industries for the Disabled. Next slide. Also on the preferred source page, there are useful links to the guides and a list of preferred source offerings, as well as to 2 links for their forms and their resources.
Next. There is also a link to the vehicle marketplace in the procurement memo, which takes you to the current vehicle marketplace. Next slide, please, sorry. Which takes you to the current vehicle marketplace platform, which gives you information on used by buyers and dealers, forms for buyers, results of mini bids, and contact information for the vehicle marketplace team.
Next slide. There's also a link for the green purchasing link that takes you to the Green New York webpage. Next slide. OGS hosts this webpage, but it actually contains information and resources from several other state agencies, like New York State DEC and New York State Department of Health. On this website, you can connect to the New York State Green New York Council, and read Executive Order 22, which is helpful in making state operations more sustainable. And you can also read the Green New York Annual Report, which has information on greening your procurements, reducing emissions, and renewable productions through green practices. Next slide. There are 6 sections on this webpage that cover a range of topics: environmentally preferable purchasing, energy efficiency, Green New York knowledge resources, green cleaning, state agency waste reduction, reuse, recycling, and conserving natural resources. The environmentally preferable purchasing link has lots of OGS centralized contracts. That's where lots of OGS centralized contracts come into play. The energy efficiency link, which has information provided by NYSERDA and New York State DEC. The Green New York Knowledge Resource page, where you can find tip sheets and quick guides on things such as green purchasing. The Green Cleaning page, where you can find a list of approved green cleaning products, 5 steps to green cleaning program, and green cleaning training manuals. And the state agency waste reduction and reuse recycling, which is related directly to Executive Order 4. And then there's also the Conserving Natural Resources page. Additionally, there will also be a Go Green presentation this Wednesday at 9 a.m. during GovByU program. You can register there to take this class at the GovByU portal found right on the main OGS Procurement Services webpage.
Next slide, please. The last webpage off of the procurement memo that I'd like to highlight is our announcements page. Next slide, please. Here you can find things like program announcements. We also post links to surveys soliciting feedback from authorized users as well as vendors. We post quarterly contract updates here that contain information on recently awarded contracts and contract extensions, as well as contract award and extensions that are currently in progress. We also post announcements for events like Pop Tour and New York GovBy. Now we'll answer questions that were submitted by you.
Okay, so the next several slides that we have are previously submitted questions. The first one is, how long are expired contracts listed on the OGS website? This is a currently ongoing project, but currently what we're going to say is that these contracts generally will stay on our website as long as there are service terms that still apply through the expired contract. You can see here on this slide that there are 2 expired contracts: the elevator maintenance contracts and the 2 administrative services contracts. The 2 expired ones are not able to be utilized at this time, but they might have warranted work that is able to be still utilized through those contracts. So we keep the links on there so that authorized users that might have warranted work can still access the contact information through those links. There is currently a link under our contract search page where you can view our recently expired posted contracts. This is new. It has just recently been put there since this slide deck was put together. It's still under development, and the only contracts that show are the ones that are highlighted here that say expired. But this is under development since these questions came in. So please keep checking back to see what goes in there. And like I said, it's directly under the search box for our contracts.
Is training available to municipalities on how to navigate, next slide please, navigate OGS centralized contracts? While OGS does not provide specific training to unauthorized users during this year, in addition to this presentation and the rest of GovBy, you can review previous GovBy classes on the link provided in this slide.
Okay, next slide, please. Where can I find information about MWBEs or SDVOBs? if I could get my acronyms correct. On the newer OGS contracts, you can find the MWBE and SDVOB goals listed on the landing page at the bottom where I've got it highlighted here. You can find the goals. And then on the contractor information page, in the contract number I've got highlighted on the right here, you can find the identifiers SB for small business, MBE for minority business enterprise, WBE for women-owned business enterprise, and SDVOB for service disabled veteran-owned businesses. You can utilize these contractors to fill your agency's goal requirements. Next slide. For more information about MWBEs and SDVOBs, you can utilize the New York State contract system. The link for this is found on the right of this slide in orange. And on the bottom left, if you click on search the directory, you can type in a company's name to see if they are an MBE, a WBE, or duly certified.
Next slide, please. How do I stay up to date on contract changes? Is there an automatic way for agencies to track contract end dates? From the OGS website found on slide 2, hover over the Procurement tab and roll down and click on the buyer information. Scroll down to the Procurement Resources section and click on Purchaser Notification, PNS. As far as tracking the contract end dates, as previously stated in this presentation, you can find them all listed on the complete listing of statewide contracts. Next slide, please. You can also check on Announcements tab, or the website at the bottom of the screen shows our quarterly updates, and this will show you any new or recently extended contracts or ones being worked on in our office.
How can I purchase heating oil through state contracts, and where do I find these contracts? You can utilize the link at the top of this page to get to our search engine. Type in the word heating, as shown here, and then our heating contracts will come up. Click on the desired heating contract that you're looking for, the grade and type that you're looking for, and click on the blue hyperlink for the contract that you're looking for. And then if you need further information, call the person or email the person that is the contact person for that contract to get information. Question that came in during the presentation.
Okay. Next slide, please. Will you explain the difference between the different categories of documentation, contract awards, contractors, updates, etc.? I find I'm going into these options not really knowing what is in them when I'm clicking to find the most current list of available contractors. Click on Contractor Information or Pricing Page list to obtain the list of contractors and their contract information. Resellers can be found on Contractors Information page as well.
Okay, the next question that came in, how do I locate forms, updates, or previous versions of a contract for auditing purposes? The answer to this greatly depends on the age of the contract. From the contract landing page, updates on the current contracts can be found under the tab Contract Updates link. Forms and other information can be found under the How to Use and Templates pages. If the contract that you are looking for is a new award to a previously awarded contract, you can find the previous information under the Historical Details tab. If the contract that you are looking for has expired and no longer shows up on the OGS Procurement Services page, you will need to contact The email address shown above, customer.services@ogs.ny.gov. Depending on the age of the expired contract, you may need to submit a FOIL request for this information.
Next slide, please. Is there a way to see which OGS contracts other than other SUNY schools are using? This information is not available through OGS Procurement Services website, and finding this information is not an easy process. But you can search through the Office of the State Comptroller's Open Book portal to see where the spend on each contract is going. You cannot search just for SUNY as a purchaser. It would be a search based on contract or award. To search this, go under State Payments and click on Search Payments, type in a date range, select Agency and select SUNY and hit Search. I selected September 9th, 2021 for my search here. The next page will show you all payments made from SUNY to a payee for that time range. On the far right, you will see a contract ID number. The ones that say OGS with a number after them are purchases through an OGS centralized contract. The payment highlighted has an OGS contract number of PT63299. If you then search the contract number under Complete Listing of All Statewide Contracts list shown on slide 16, you can find which contract this is associated with.
Okay, this is probably the most requested question that we've had for this presentation. I am having difficulty plugging in appropriate search terms. Please provide me with some guidance. At this time, OGS Procurement Services is concentrating on more general contracts than contracts for specific items. For example, we no longer have a printer copier contract or an audiovisual contract. Instead, we have the IT umbrella contract. IT umbrella contracts manufacturer and distributor based, awards 22802 and 22876. Therefore, typing in to our search engine, printer or computer would not come up with any contract. Instead, you need to think of a broader term. In this case, the term technology would bring up the correct contracts. The same thing if you were looking for furniture, which we brought up in a previous contract. If you type in desk or chair, it's not going to bring up the contract. But if you type in furniture, the furniture contract would come up. So we encourage you at this time to think outside of the box when trying to find the contract names. The other thing, when I answer telephone calls for customers looking for a specific contract name, what I end up doing a lot of the time, there's only 5 to 6 pages of contract awards currently listed on our website right now. You can always just scroll through them if you can't find the one that you're looking for and just read the 5 pages of names.
Next slide, please. How do I search to find out if a specific publisher is on contract or find a certain model of equipment? Finding a specific publisher on award 23260 is the same as finding a contractor on any other procurement services contract. You should search for award 23260, select the contract information link. All the individual contractors are listed there. Or you can utilize the complete listing on all statewide contracts PDF outlined on slide 16. Specific models or equipment can be found under the pricing information link for each contract and publisher.
Okay, how do I get access to the OGS Procurement Services system as a SUNY staff member? To start with, am I on? Yes, this is the right slide. Okay. To start with, as a point of public record, all information on the OGS Procurement Services website is public information. It is accessible to anyone. While authorized users are not able to access the OGS customer database directly, you can apply to become an authorized user through the OGS website. However, it is recommended that you check with your head of finance or your head of procurement for your institution to find out if your agency or your institution is already registered. They should have a record of your OGS authorized user number on file. If your agency is not registered with OGS as an authorized user, you can click on this link here next to the gentleman with hard hats. And the link is right here at the bottom of this page.
What is the best third-party guide out there for procurement for those smaller startups new to this type of contracting? We know that many times agencies receive calls from suppliers asking how to get on a state contract, whether they are interested in a specific agency or a centralized contract. OGS wants authorized users to know that they can direct these vendors to our website here. You can see the PDF document, A Guide to Doing Business with New York State, can be found from the procurement menu. Hover over procurement, scroll down to Do Business. In the center of the page, under the picture of the Capitol building, there is a picture of a man holding an open sign. The link under this picture will bring you to a 28-page step-by-step guide on how to do business with New York State.
Next slide, please. Okay. Does Staples still have a contract with New York City? Well, we're not New York City. We're New York State. So my answer to this question is New York State does not have a centralized contract for office supplies at this time. For New York City, please check with New York City's procurement department at the website shown above for their information.
Next slide. What is your next step if you cannot find a vendor for what you need on an OGS contract? Well, you would check your agency's procurement guidelines. You may be able to make the necessary purchase via another procurement method if available. So follow your organization's procurement guidelines.
Next slide. Can you please provide additional information on the mini bid process and verifying contract prices due to the size of some of your price lists? This information will vary based on award. Each of our awards that have mini bids, quick quotes, requests for quotations, they each are different for how you would verify those prices. So you would need to read through the documentation for each of those awards. You will need to use the how-to, the FAQ documents in the tools for each of those awards. In all cases, you should always review the results of your quotation exercises by comparing the results given to you to the published contract pricing so that you are sure that the quotes that you are given are at or below the contractor's not to exceed contract pricing. Also, to talk about the extreme size of some of our price lists, the best thing that you can do is to utilize a VLOOKUP through Excel, which greatly will decrease the time navigating some of our price lists. If you're not familiar with VLOOKUP, look that up in the help section of Excel, and that will greatly, greatly cut down the amount of time searching through the price lists.
Next slide, please. What is replacing the New York State e-marketplace? The contract for the e-marketplace provider, Proactis, expires October 19th, 2023. OGS does not plan to replace e-marketplace. However, purchases can still be made after September 22nd, 2023. Agencies can continue to create requisitions and purchase orders in SFS for contract items previously available in the e-marketplace.
Next. Okay, we would like to thank you for your time this morning in sitting down to review our website. We would also like to encourage you to take part in the other offerings that we have over the next few days during our Gov by You. And this is a list of all of the different classes and offerings that we have between today and Thursday. Next slide.
Next slide. If you have any questions you may have after today's session, you can send them to New York Gov by mailbox at ny.gov.by or customer.service@ogs.ny.gov.
That slide got updated.
Yeah, the slide got updated. Sorry. As a reminder, this class will be available online in about 2 to 3 weeks. And thank you for taking part. Have a nice day.
We do have some questions that Jim hasn't addressed yet in the chat that I'll just throw out to all of the panelists here. The first one was, where do you suggest public housing authorities look for guidance? Municipalities and local governments?
Yes.
Yes.
It's easy enough.
Under that buying 101 for municipalities page.
Yeah, let me just click back to that one. So, yikes, sorry, I hope I'm not giving anybody.
That was slide 8.
Slide 8, there we are. So we do have this buying 101 page for municipalities specifically and local governments. Another question, will you be sending a verification of attending for our professional development CN audit? I know the answer to this one. We haven't been accredited with any professional development type of activity, so I don't think that pertains to us unless somebody else knows differently. I don't think so. This question you covered, but we could go over it again. Is there a way to search by contract number, PC or PS, etc.?
In the search engine, you can search by contract. Well, you can search by award number and group number.
Go back.
Back one page.
Go back one. Right there.
Right here, you can search by award number and group number. Or you can type in keyword searches that will bring up the award titles. If you go to the next slide, this one you can use the Control F function and you can type in contract numbers that include the PC, PM, PT, PPS, PB prefixes, and then type in the 5-digit number after that, or type by contract name.
And then this also, what we have on the screen here addresses the next question, which is there a way to search by vendor? And it would be in the same PDF listing.
Correct. You would do Control F and put in the vendor name.
So a related question. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Again, if you do Control F and you get the vendor name, you would have to go through all the searches because the vendor may be awarded more than one contract.
Okay. And a related question is Control F will not work when a contract has authorized retailers or resellers. How can we easily search for vendors when they might be resellers?
Yes, Mr. Malone.
You would need to narrow it down to who the contractor is, then go into the contractor's page to find their list of resellers.
Yeah, we do not list the resellers on any of our contract lists except for in specific contracts under contractor information, and then the resellers are listed.
All right, the next question. Could you provide an explanation of the group, award, and contract number relationship or origin of those numbers?
They are national industrial standards, the basics behind. It's done by a numerical group. Award numbers, contract numbers are generated internally through our enterprise database.
And I believe the group number doesn't change over time. Like the same group number will be used for, say, fuels, but then the award number and contract numbers change.
Correct.
Correct.
question that we've already addressed. Will the presentation be available at a later date for viewing? And yes, we will post all of the recordings of all of the sessions along with the PowerPoint slides on the OGS website in the future, and we will email out the link to that page. Another question that Jim addressed, but just so the broader audience can hear it. The New York State Procurement Guideline document is dated May 2014. Is there an updated version, or is this guide still valid for information?
It is still valid. The New York State Procurement Council is working on a new edition. However, it is totally in their hands as far as when such a document will be approved and released.
All right, next question. Is there a notification of when a contract ends and when it has been reestablished? For example, the Staples contract that has ended.
Contract teams tend to put out advanced notifications through the purchaser notification service to say when a contract will be expiring. Again, the purchaser notification service is where you will also find out when a new contract has been awarded.
I think that might address our next question. Where do you get automatic updates on contracts?
The
Purchaser
PNS.
notification service.
All right. When is a New York State vendor number used, or what can it reference?
New York State vendor identification number is a registration between a vendor and the New York State Office of the State Comptroller's statewide financial system, which basically links the vendor to the state accounting system to enable them to be paid in the event that they do work for the state.
All right. We are a nonprofit agency with schools and group homes. How do we find out which category to use, school district or state agency?
Unless you are a state agency, you would be covered through the general municipal law. And you should work with the Office of the State Comptroller's Bureau of Local Government and School Accountability with any questions that you may have specifically.
All right. The switch to broader terms makes it extremely difficult to find the information I'm looking for. I have to figure out what broad term may have been used and then drill down to hopefully find items that I'm looking for. Any guidance on how to use this new and improved method would be appreciated.
If you're not able to find the contract for what you're looking for, you can call customer service or email customer.services@ogs.ny.gov. And one of the 5 of us on the customer service team will help you find the contract that you're looking for.
All right. We have a few more that have come in.
Okay.
Are you working on an office supply contract?
Yes.
Yes, it just hasn't gone through yet.
Okay. Some of the contractor price sheets are locked and cannot be filtered or allow for a VLOOKUP. Is there any workaround to that?
Contact the contract manager or customer.services@ogs.ny.gov, and we can help you work around that.
Let me see.
I see a couple here, Emily. One says, what does PCPSPT stand for? Procurement contract, procurement service, procurement technology.
That was a mouthful. Thanks, Jim.
Well, and then there's the PBITS is PB and
Right.
HBITS is P.
CM is manufacturing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the team here would know the answer to this one. When will the when can we expect the fuel contract award for Westchester County?
As soon as it's approved by the Office of the State Comptroller and the Office of the Attorney General.
Yep.
Okay. Regardless of professional development, will there be a confirmation of attendance? I would say anybody who needs confirmation of attendance can email me or email the customer services team, and we'll provide the report with your name and contact info that shows that you attended.
Yes.
We don't have like a formalized process for that in place. All right. How do you search for a contract that provides secure storage for data backup tapes, like physical tapes?
That would likely be through the manufacturer-based IT, which you would basically go to the OGS comment.
So 22802, and then search the comment portal.
What can be expected with staples through New York State OGS? Is the bid in progress, or is there nothing in progress currently?
It's in a restricted period. We can't mention anything at this point.
Okay. How does a buyer see how much money is left on an OGS contract? We're
We have to
getting
go over
errors
to
on
SFS.
SFS, okay.
Mhm.
It says we are getting, we're getting errors on POs, and the cause of the error is there isn't enough money on the OGS contracts. Please contact OGS Contract Administration. How can we prevent this error?
That will have
Could
to
you-
go through the contract manager for the contract, and they can add money to the contract.
See, that might be it. Oh. Is there a way to provide bidders lists that a user can copy in a group and then paste into an email? For example, IT Umbrella has a bidders list in this format.
I'm not understanding your question, Emily.
Okay, I read it verbatim, so I'm not sure if Diane wants to post clarification there to that one.
Or if she needs more further clarification, she can email her question to customer.services@ogs.ny.gov.
Okay, we got another question. Does this presentation address vehicle mini bids? And no, it doesn't. There's a vehicle marketplace session that you can register for that's happening tomorrow, I believe at 11 o'clock. So be sure to go back in and register for that.
I did see a question come up on how to do broad search, broader name
Yes.
search. If you go to our contract list under description, that'll give you an idea what broader search is, like milk, fluid, food, solar panel agreements. Just you have to think of what your item is. If you're looking for a laptop, what is a laptop? Technology, look under technology. If you're looking for a chair, what is chair? Furniture, look under furniture. If you're looking for gasoline, what is gasoline? Fuel, look under fuel. So that's what we mean when we say broader term.
All right, the school and art supplier contract has expired. Will this be addressed?
Wasn't that one
Yes, will
extended?
be.
I thought
Will
it was
be.
extended by 90 days.
It will be addressed.
All right.
That
How
one
would
is
you
being addressed internally.
How would you search for a project manager or an engineer? Would that-
Temporary administrative services.
Engineers possibly, but I don't think project.
Yeah, project managers might not be there, but they would need to look at the administrative services contract and look at the job descriptions and what's available through the award.
If it's anything architectural, that would need to go through design and construction.
Okay, I think those were all the questions that I saw coming in through the chat. I don't know, Jim, if you had noted anything else or any of the presenters.
Testing. They pop up and disappear before I can read them.
Oh, Somebody submitted, how do you search for painting companies?
Again, administrative service.
Administrative
Administrative.
services.
Okay, and we did get a clarification on that question from earlier. Some contracts make it easy to reach out via email for bid requests because all of the emails are listed in an Excel file and format, as opposed to individually on the website, where we as buyers need to manually copy and paste each email.
You can send an email to customer.services@ogs.ny.gov, and we can get that information for you from the team in question. And Jim is Jim Malone. He is the head of customer service here at Procurement Services. That was another question that I saw pop up.
And I was gonna say he doesn't exist.
He doesn't exist.
I just saw the question about reporting a vendor. When you go to the contract landing page under the award notification, the last page is a complaint form that the user can fill out.
Feedback.
I'm sorry,
Feedback.
it's a feedback form that can be submitted. Positive feedback is well liked.
Which can either be submitted to the contract manager directly, or it can be submitted to customer services at the same customer.services@ogs.ny.gov. And we can get it to the contract managers.
Folks, it would be very helpful if we could keep our questions to the class content. We do have many other classes where some of these questions will probably be answered. And if not, of course, you can reach out either to the teams directly that handle the contracts you're questioning about, or to our customer services.
We did get another question that I can answer. Will the training PowerPoint be shared? I've signed up for other trainings this week, and would it be possible to get the PowerPoint prior so I can make notes on that? We will be sharing the PowerPoints by posting them on an OGS webpage in the future, but we're not able to share the PowerPoints beforehand because the presenters are working on them to keep them up to date right until, right before go time. So unfortunately, we won't be able to distribute them or get a web page up and running to post those ahead of time.
And that concludes our time for today.
Oh, there's one more question that just came in. What's the procedure to report a vendor that is not following their contract?
They should contact the contract manager.
All right. Yep, will we be getting a certificate or notification of attendance? As we said earlier, email one of us here at OGS, either myself, emily.schusis@ogs.ny.gov, or the customer services mailbox, and we will be able to verify your attendance that way. And I believe that's it for questions. So we're just bumping up on time here. So thank you everybody for joining us, and thank you to the presenters for doing an excellent job today. And I hope everyone has a good afternoon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.